This is a video that I need to make. A lot of people have been asking me how they can become a professional YouTuber. They've been asking me if I think they've got a shot at it. They've been telling me that they're going to be dropping out of college and going full time, and they're psyched for it. They want to get together. They want to collab. They want to do all sorts of things. And what they don't realize is I'm not a professional YouTuber. This is just a hobby. But we've got to talk about it because you're honestly about to make a horrible, horrible mistake if you think you are about to go pro. And if you're the 0.00069% of people that is actually going to make it, you don't need this video to tell you that. So what is it? It's Saturday. I've got a beer, so it's time to talk some you know what. We're not going to say it because it will get demonetized. This is episode 8, I believe, of STS, and today we're talking about becoming a professional YouTuber, or why this is probably the worst idea you've ever had. Yes, it's even worse than opening the emo petting zoo / bar. I was going to say emu, but I like emo better. Anyways, basically, here's where we're going with this. People comment on my videos all the time, and they want to be professional YouTubers. They want to do this full time, and for whatever reason, they think I'm doing it full time. As of making this video, I've got 37,000 subscribers roughly, which is a massive number. If I brought all those people into my house, the fire marshals would be very disappointed in me. But that isn't enough to become a professional YouTuber. In fact, based on my calculations, even if I had 100,000 subscribers, that wouldn't be enough to live the lifestyle that I am living. If I had 1 million subscribers, that would actually probably be enough. I might need to cut my budget a little bit, but that would be enough. That would be enough, okay? Especially if you're getting like all that monetization there, right? And it's not about subscribers. It's actually about view count and everything like that, which makes this even trickier. So basically, here's where we're at, okay? A lot of you comment on my videos saying you want to become a professional YouTuber and you think the first step is getting a shout out from me. So I've given people shout outs before, people that I've played with in the past, YouTubers that I actually really like. I've got a whole list of Rust console YouTubers on my community tab. Go check it out. Seriously, like if you want to leave this video and go subscribe to all those other people, that's probably a better use of your time. So go do that. Otherwise, let's stay tuned and see if I can come up with any more shitty jokes. But now I put the pressure on myself. That's not nice. Anyways, though. Like, I can't do much, right? With 38,000 subscribers, or 37, whatever it is, whatever the number is, it's going to get to 38 at some point, hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood. Anyways, with 38,000 subscribers, if I give you a shout out, you're probably going to get 10 to 100 subscribers, depending on how good your content is. If it's really fire content, maybe you'll get 100, maybe that push will be what it takes to get you monetized. That's about as far as I can get someone to monetization. That's it. And once you get monetized, you're not really going to be making that much. So people don't know, this channel that I've got that seems extremely successful, I started back in 2011. This channel's over a decade old. There's probably a few of you watching this video that are younger than this channel. And that's wrong, by the way. You shouldn't be watching this video. Go play with Barney or something. Anyways, what I'm getting at here is it's a very old channel and it has made a horribly low amount of money. It is a 5-figure amount. It's about, oh man, I was going to make a whole video on this, but if you've made it this far into the video, I appreciate it. So right now, this channel's made about, I think something like $40,000. That sounds like a lot, okay? I know someone just like blew up there, but that's literally $4,000 a year over 10 years. Oops, that's not that much. Now, right now, I'm actually doing pretty good with views. I'm getting about 300,000 views, which that's a good amount. If you look at my revenue next month, it's probably going to be 41,000. So if we do math, that would mean I make about $1,000 a month, okay, off this channel. That's a good amount for a hobby. That's a horrible amount for a job. I don't know where you live. Again, like, I've got to put this disclaimer and everything, okay? I am extremely lucky. I'm a software engineer as a profession. I'm in actually one of the higher paying fields of software engineering. I've been doing it for less than a decade, but about a decade, and done pretty good with that, right? Like, that degree I got after I started this YouTube channel, and if you look at how much that degree has made me, it's going to be 7 figures, okay? Like, it's low 7, but it's still 7 figures. I'm not going to lie here. A lot of you probably aren't going to do that good. I know statistically not everybody watching this is going to be getting a job that pays like that, okay? There are jobs that pay less, and those are very good jobs, and you should be very proud of having those jobs. I live in a very, very high cost of living city, so my money probably doesn't go as far as your money, to be honest. Like, depending on where you're living, I don't know anything about you. Like, if you're living in Thailand, if you're making the figure that I'm making, you're living like a king. You are living a life that I could only imagine. And if you're living in New York City, you're probably living a little bit under me, but not too much. I live in Boston, by the way. So like high cost of living, that's part of the reason that number seems so inflated. But basically what I'm saying is I'm in an extremely lucky position to be able to say like the money that I'm making off YouTube isn't that much to me. To some of you, it will be. And for those people, it could make sense to go for it. If you're living in a country where there is very high inflation, where just jobs are not that easy to come by and minimum wage is extremely low, maybe becoming a YouTuber is actually something that you could do. I know I said 0.0069%, but I don't want to give a false impression here. A lot of the people who come up to me and they ask me for their advice, we're talking about kids. They're probably sort of like living in a middle-class family. They're going to school. They've got a nice laptop, all of that. Now, if you're living in some sort of slum somewhere or something like that and you're watching this on your phone, you probably could actually make a decent amount of money and get yourself out of that situation if you just start posting videos on YouTube. And I'm going to give you a little bit of advice here. Don't post videos gaming. Post videos about like that area that you live in. That is like, when it comes to YouTube, one of the things you've got to look at is exclusivity of what you're doing. For instance, if you own a one-of-one hypercar, you make a video on that car, you're the expert, you're the only person with the access, and you're the guy everyone's got to go to. There's people that are going to be interested in it because it's one-of-one and is probably super expensive because we said hypercar, I think. If we didn't, like maybe you're posting like some sort of like 1920s shit bucket that needs a horse to run, that doesn't count. Maybe there's someone that loves that stuff, but that probably doesn't count. I'm talking about one of those like super sick cars that costs a shit ton of money, right? That's something that getting that access, it means that you could have the personality of a rock and look like a guy that should only be on the radio, and you could still get 1 million views easy. Now, if you're living in an area that's lower income, or like that is somewhat known, lower income, that a lot of people don't go to, there's people that actually look for that stuff. There's people that are interested in that want to know what life is like there. Like every now and then I'll go on like a video watching spree and I'll be looking at like what life in Iraq is like. It's actually getting surprisingly better there. What life in Syria like, again, is it's actually getting surprisingly better. It turns out COVID didn't just kill 1 million plus people, it also killed ISIS. Well, at least it seems like they sort of died out and now they're going away because it just seems to be that what's the case. Anyways, what I'm getting at here is you got to look at what your exclusive thing is. Now, when I picked gaming, that was a horrible choice. If gaming's your exclusive thing, why is it your exclusive thing? For me, I really don't have a reason. People watch these videos because when I do a how-to video, it's super short. It gets right to the point and tells you what you need to do. Maybe I throw a joke in there every now and then. If you go back and you look at some of my like Black Ops Cold War videos, that's peak Serial Overdrive. There's some really key jokes in there in a very short amount of time, and it gets you what you need as far as information goes. Those, in my opinion, are some of the best videos I've ever made. Not from an editing standpoint, but from a sort of dialogue standpoint. If you're doing something like that, maybe you will get some attention in the gaming space. But there, the main focus is getting people the content they need fast and giving them some jokes with it, right? That's something that people can't do. Like if you look at a lot of these big YouTubers, when they do a how-to video, it's a freaking monstrosity. It's 10 minutes long. They're telling you about their dog, their wife, and their life, and then they're going to tell you all this other stuff, and if you don't subscribe, they're probably going to shoot themselves in the head. Like, it's just, they in a video game, whatever. But they go into all this, like, junk that you really don't care about. You just want to know how to get the golden sword and Zelda or whatever it is, right? Now, you can do better, right? Anyone can do better. If you start doing that, maybe the YouTube algorithm picks you up, but you need a good mic for that. You need quality. You need to be able to sort of put your best foot forward there because you get one shot with people. So yeah, you've got to have that exclusivity. So a lot of people, when they approach it, they think their exclusivity is skill. But that is literally one of the hardest things to get because you're competing with everybody else who has that video game. And if it's a free-to-play game like Fortnite, it's pretty much everybody that has that video game. You're literally competing with pretty much every male over the age of like 13 who's ever decided to play a video game or has the capabilities to play a video game due to their monetary status in life. The chances that you're better than them are insanely low, not just because you're probably complete shit at the game like me, no offense, but because you've actually got to make videos. So after you actually get all these good clips and all that, you've got to put together a montage, and you're thinking, well, Serial, they have to do it too, except when you look at these people who are really good, they get into these tournaments, they win millions and millions of dollars. If they want to put together a montage, they're paying someone to do it so they can train while they're doing it, and that is their life. That's what they eat, sleep, and breathe. And they're probably not even making as much money as you think, right? Like maybe the top guy makes $1 million a year. But once you get to number 10, number 20 on that slot, things have dropped down. Like they might be making six figures, but it's very low six figures, right? And low six figures sounds nice, but when you're living in LA like a lot of these guys are, that is not as nice as you think it is. So yeah, let's throw skill out, because at this point, by the time you're thinking about making a YouTube channel, too much time has gone by. You're not going to be that 13-year-old phenom who just destroys everybody at a game. So what do you have left? Is your microphone any good, or are you talking into a shit box? Because if you are, one of the things that is really important is having good audio. So now you've upgraded your microphone. Now how's your computer? Well, I run off a pretty shitty computer right now, if we're being completely honest. I need to upgrade it. I'm playing on an Xbox Series X. That works, right? People don't care as much about the video as long as it's viewable as they do about the audio. The audio needs to be good, especially if you're doing guides or talking or it's personality based. But now let's say like you're 18 years old. Where's your personality? What life experience do you have, right? Let's think about this, because here's the thing. Like the people who ask me if they want, like the people who say they want to become full-time YouTubers, generally they don't have life experience and they don't know what things cost. Your mom and dad aren't going to be happy if at 30 years old you're living in their basement still going for that 1,000 subs. Like if you're going for 1,000 subs, like you're nowhere. I hate to break it to you. Like it sounds like a really cool accomplishment, but once you hit 1,000 subs, you're probably making dollars a month. Okay. Single day, like maybe you're making double digits, right? But you're not getting $100 payout every month. You're probably getting it every couple months. I've been there. And there's nothing wrong with that as a hobby. But if you want that as a career, you can't sustain yourself for very long on there. When you look at these YouTubers who did really go all in, they already had sort of a base there. They were doing something that they wanted to do. They were documenting it, and they were posting it to YouTube. And then when they saw some traction, when they saw some viability there, they went for it. But very few of them went for it at 100 subscribers. They went for it in thousands or tens of thousands or whatever, right? Like, if I wanted to make a go at it, like sitting where I'm at right now, if I thought I wanted to make a go at it, okay, let's say I'm at a different stage in my life, I can move wherever I want to. Here's what I do. 38,000 subscribers, getting about $1,000 a month, let's say. First thing I do is I try and up that number. I start putting out merch, right? Like, doesn't need to be good merch. It would be shitty merch, okay? And let's say that bumps your number up to maybe another $100, $200 that you're making. You start to do some deals with people. That's going to bump it up a little bit more. Maybe you get a little shitty with it. You take some gambling, some alcohol, some sort of iffy sponsorships, right? You're selling people those dick pills and they might not work. Okay, so now you're up to maybe like $2,000. And that seems really sick, right? You're making $24,000 a fucking year. That's under the poverty line, but who cares? You're living in poverty. No. You can actually make that go. Like if you go over to Thailand, like when I'm in Thailand, I spend a shit ton of money. But if you actually don't act like me and just spend money on ridiculous things, you can make a legitimate living out there on $2,000. You can live a pretty good life. You can get a villa, you can get a pool, you can get all of that. But if you want to go back home and you're living in a first world country that's somewhat expensive, it's going to be a little bit tough, because you know what those plane tickets cost. It's about half your monthly income that you're spending just to fly back and forth. Maybe it's even your monthly income that you're spending just to fly back and forth. Can you spend a month's income to get home or whatever it is? I don't know. I couldn't do it if I was spending a month. Like, that's why I don't fly. Like, if I was spending a month's income to fly, I'd be flying first class, but it would be too much for me. That's just not something that I could stomach, to be honest. And that's not something that my wallet could stomach. It would be puking out credit cards, bills, and all sorts of shit that I don't want to see. That's the trick, actually, of living a life of luxury. Never look at your bills. That's horrible advice. Don't take it. Anyways, though, what I'm getting at here is, like, there is a possibility, like, someone like me could probably make a go at it. I've got enough numbers. I've got enough statistics to sort of know where things are going. That said, though, my channel's dropping off. If you look a year ago, I had... What is it? My top month had about 1 million views. 1 million views to 300,000 views. That's a pretty big drop off. That's a pretty big drop. And if that's your living, I'd be worried right now, right? Like million views. That's about, I was making like $4,000 a month, let's say. Like that's where you're sitting, $4,000 a month on 1 million views. That's pretty damn good. But the problem is you can't count on that coming in. You can't count on any consistency there. With my salary, like with my current job, I know that I'm going to keep getting paid more as long as my skills get better and better. And my skills tend to get better because I get experience. YouTube doesn't work that way. Just because you've experienced entertaining people doesn't mean you're going to be better at entertaining people. You will have a bit of an advantage. If you look at this video versus my first video, I've definitely improved. I definitely have an advantage over younger me. And remember, if you're going into it full time, everybody like me has an advantage over you because you don't have as much experience. Even though I'm a hobbyist, it's going to take you some time to get to the point where I'm at. Okay? So, you're dealing with that. But like, what was I saying? This is STS, by the way, so I ramble a lot if you haven't figured that out. It's like, let's say, like, I could make a decent run at it. I could probably figure out where my revenue is, but there's a lot of stress that comes with your revenue dropping by, what would that be? For me, that would be about 80% and having no idea if that revenue is going to come back. There is a very legitimate chance that when I hit that 1 million view mark for a month, that was the best my channel will ever do. I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I do these videos to help people. I do these videos to entertain people. As long as a couple people are watching and we're all having a good time, it's a good thing for me to be doing. I enjoy it. It's a hobby, right? This is relaxing to me. Sit back, have a beer, talk to a microphone. It's like therapy, but instead of me paying a therapist, YouTube's paying me, and you guys hopefully get some entertainment out of it. So now we're going to talk about my mother. No, just kidding. But no, like, it's just one of those things, right? Like, it's a very hard thing to do. It would be very hard for me to do it right now without having a lot of stress on myself, without taking a huge lifestyle downgrade. And what I get is when you're looking at it from high school, it might seem like that's a really good option because $1,000 seems like a lot. And hey, you get to write off all your gaming stuff because it's a business expense, right? Like, what could be better? You know what could actually be a lot better? A career where your income keeps going up. Because right now, like I said, I've made low 7 figures out of my career. The next 10 years is probably going to be still low 7 figures, but a bit higher than it was the last 10 years. And maybe by the time I'm done with my career, the last 10 years, I'm going to be mid 7 figures. That's pretty good. Being able to think that that's a thing that could happen and being able to think that as long as nothing happens to my industry, you've still got to plan for. You've still got to plan for getting laid off and never having a job again. I've planned for that, right? But like, for the most part, you can sort of consistently assume that that's going to happen. You can buy cars, you can buy houses, you can buy things, assuming you have a rainy day fund and the funds to sort of give yourself a runway. A lot of people say 6 months. Personally, I don't like that 6 month figure. I want to be like, my whole savings thing is ridiculous. Personally, I'd like to be able to live for at least 10 years if I decide to liquidate all my investments at the point that I'm living. Now, if you don't have that much, that's not possible. But if you do have a decent amount saved, that is possible, right? Live in a shitty apartment for a little bit longer, drive that shitty car for a little bit longer, walk instead of paying for gas. Like, you do all those things, eventually you're going to get to a point where you realize if you downgrade some stuff, you can get back to that point where you'd be fine for a decade, okay? But basically, with YouTube, it doesn't work that way. You can't count on that money coming in month to month. In fact, your money is going to swing wildly. For instance, January, February, March, I made a lot less than I'm going to make in December, November, and October. Unfortunately, though, with the recession, maybe that isn't the case. Maybe advertisers decide to stop paying, and then I make way less. So things that you count on, you can't count on all the time, and the economy really does hit you, right? Like, the economy crashes right now. I could lose my job, but I've been in my job for a while. I know I'm a pretty decent employee, and if they really wanted to fire me, there's all sorts of contracts that we have negotiated and everything like that. So it would take them some time to do it. I'd get a little bit of a sort of a little kickback, I guess, and, I'd be on my way. That's what it would be. But with YouTube, your salary could just drop off. You could get demonetized. Look at what happened to the Act Man. Now imagine you're a smaller channel. You decided to go full-time, and at 38,000 subscribers, you get demonetized. What do? 38,000 subscribers, let's say your channel gets kicked off the platform. What do? How many people have you brought over to Twitch? If you're me, 500 people. I've shouted my Twitch out a ton. You know how hard it is to get people to go over to Twitch? Right now, I'm talking about going over to Twitch, going over to Twitter, following me on my Discord or other platforms. How many of you are actually going to do it? I just called it out, and it's probably going to be a very low number. And if I call it out a ton, people are going to start unsubscribing because of it, right? So what do you do if your channel gets banned? Because that could happen. It's very hard to ban someone from a whole industry, right? Like, if you're a programmer, how hard would it be for them to ban me from an industry? It'd be extremely hard. Like, even if it's like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, both of them I pissed off. They hate each other, so somehow I pissed them off. And let's throw in some other people too. Right? I pissed off Bernie Sanders. I've got the whole right, left, center. Everybody's mad at me. How hard would it be for me to get another job? In the US, pretty damn hard, I think. But I could move somewhere where they speak English. I could move somewhere where they don't speak English. Maybe I speak a second language. I don't. I'm horrible with language. I do know how to cuss at people in like 5 different languages, which is quite impressive. Vaffanculo, by the way. Anyways, though. But no, like, that's the thing. Like, it is very hard to fully cancel someone, especially if they've got a common name. You can change your name. You can sort of go to a company where you haven't been heard of. You can go to the other side of the country. It's very hard for someone to completely cancel you. I mean, obviously, if you get charged with murder or something, you get went to jail and you're pretty much, that's not canceling. That's a whole nother thing. But like on YouTube, it's a little bit easier. All you've got to do is get the YouTube bros to hit demonetized and you're sort of out of the picture, right? Like if you've been demonetized, your videos don't really get as much traction. If they kick your channel off the platform, it's just gone. And that actually does scare me. I'm going to be completely honest about this. That's one of the things that's the scariest thing for me about YouTube. It's not the fact that they could demonetize me. That would suck, but it would be what it is. It's the fact that they could delete my whole backlog. I don't think I've said anything bad. I don't think I've ever pushed the boundaries or anything like that. I try to be friendly to everybody. I try to, like, if someone does something bad to me in a video game, I blur their name out. I don't want people getting hate over anything, but if for whatever reason, maybe maybe we're playing Rust and I get a really good kill on some, guy who's big at YouTube and he decides to ban me because he thinks I'm cheating. I don't cheat. You can watch my videos. You can see my aim. I'm not cheating. But let's say that happens. What do? There's not really much I can do. I'm sort of shit out of luck. And that's the thing. Like, you've always got to consider that. If you're going full-time in YouTube, you've got to be ready for your revenue to drop off and never come back. If that's something you could survive, you could pretty much retire at the point that you're at. Maybe you do go full-time. I'm not saying don't follow your dream, but what I'm saying is have a backup plan. Because while you hear from all these successful creators who made it big and who've had this great life because of what they did, there's a ton of people that just drop off the face of the earth and then their life really isn't that great. The other thing about YouTube is that money comes in fast and it comes in hard if you're doing good, and it will disappear just as fast and just as hard. So if you're out there, like if you're listening to this and your channel does kick off, make sure you're not buying Lambos and Raris and stuff like that, right? Unless you've got a job that you can fall back on. If you come at me and you're like, Serial, look, I've got 2 degrees, mathematics and engineering. I have a PhD in astrophysics. My YouTube channel just hit 1 million subscribers. It brought in $200,000 this month. I want to buy a Lambo. I think it's fine for me to do that because even if I lose my job, I've got backup jobs. I could get a job at Google, NASA, whatever, right? Then it's like, yeah, you do you, boy. Like, you've got everything. You got it all planned. If your channel fails, you can get a job in anywhere. Like, you pick your place. You get a job there. No big deal, right? If you're in that sort of situation, make those big purchases when you get the big money coming in. As long as you can pay taxes and repair costs, even if you can't pay, like if you can't keep your Lambo up to date, if you can't pay the repair costs for it, it sits in your garage. That's a worst case scenario. For a house, it's a little bit different because you do have taxes and stuff like that. But assuming you've got everything handled, you should be good to go there. But a lot of people who ask that advice, they're just coming out of high school and they're saying like, Serial, you got 10 subscribers. I think I can go full time on YouTube. Click over your videos and it's just montages. You're talking over, but you're talking over this. Like, what did I just say right there? Who knows? I just mumbled into the microphone. I didn't actually say anything. Sorry about that, but you're just talking like it just doesn't work. I don't know how you look at these videos and think that this is what it takes to go full time. Look at some of my videos. Some of the ones that don't do that good. I put titling under each and every word that I do for the first 30 seconds. I do that because that helps with retention. Sometimes there's music in the background. I try to dial it down so you can still hear me over it. Then you've got this microphone, this whole setup that I'm talking about costs $800. Or no, $500. Whatever it costs. It costs a decent amount of money. Do you have something like that XLR mic? Do you have a... what do you have? Like, what sort of computer do you have? Do you have the computer that can edit these videos? Right now, I've got a really shitty computer. So when I do subtitles, after a while, I just have to give up because the computer's lagging. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Do you have the gear that can even compete? Because if you don't, it's going to be very hard for you to get big. Maybe you do get a 1 in a million clip. It gets 1 billion views, and then you're set for life. That's not a career. That's luck. That's playing a lot of winning, in my opinion. Maybe you do get that viral clip of you killing Ninja or Ludwig or XQC or someone like that, and it goes off and you just bring in all these views and then you can live a happy life. Maybe that does happen, but in that case, it's something that could have happened like no matter what you're doing. You know, you could be working a full-time job. You could still be playing in the evenings. Maybe you get that clip and then you're good to go. But if you're looking to make it a full-time career, you're not looking for luck. You're looking to do it based on skill, based on editing, based on knowing how to do that SEO keyword stuff and everything like that. And if you know how to do that, you should be sitting at a good number of subscribers and you should be growing pretty fast and you should be fairly sure of where you're going. And I think a lot of people aren't. That's why I wanted to make this video. I'm running out of stuff to say, so honestly, I'm just going to end it here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. For those of you who made it to the end, let me know, did that fall off after that whole joke thing? Probably. Anyways, until next time, peace.